Hey friends and fam, welcome back to another video, and just as the title says, I'm going to tell you guys how to get Inuyasha and his brother for just $10. So I'm sorry to you guys who already spent a bunch of money out there. Hopefully this video can reach a couple of you guys who still haven't used all of your amulets. I almost forgot to tell you guys how to do it. Basically, to keep things simple, it's really straightforward. You just need 2 alt accounts, and then you just do the events. Well, first of all, your alt accounts get a lot of free summons. You just swap the shards back onto your main account. So while I do have enough amulets to get one for sure and probably close to the other as well, I'm going to wait, even if I will summon, and I'm sure I will because, well, summoning is fun. I'm going to wait for the 6 days so I can get these packs as well, because I think, one, they're awesome because of all the XP Duras, but also I'd rather do all my summons at once rather than have it cut up into 2 and have to make 2 videos out of it as well. Alright my bros, now there has been a lot of great changes to the game, including some cool changes to the interface, and I am extremely happy about that. Like, I love that they've added all these new features. And although I feel like the game is still doing a lot of money grab action, I feel like it's good for us to help each other find ways to counteract all that money grabbing. Now, I don't mind spending money on the game, but I'd like to at least spend my money in a way that I feel I'm getting something as... I want to have fun when I spend money. I don't want to feel like they're just sucking the life out of my wallet. So hopefully that cool little alt thing, or alt account trick, exploit, loop system, whatever you want to call it, helps some of you guys save some of your money. I've been running into a lot of new players who have been having a hard time figuring out what souls to upgrade and what Shiki to upgrade next. Now, as far as what souls to upgrade, that's going to be an entirely different video, and we can go into details about how to pick what souls are best to invest in, and kind of like the system I use personally to try and find or try and get the most out of my gold and income. As far as what Shiki to G6, it has been a while since I've made a top tier list of Shiki to use, and I can go ahead and redo that as well. Well, you guys, as much as I love PvE, PvP has always been where the excitement is for me. I thought there was more competition when it came to PvP, but with the new introduction of the ladder system in PvE, I might start taking a look at it. But for now, let's talk about PvP, because that's what I've been focused on mostly. And I have a pretty cool team to show you guys. You guys remember my old team? I might still have it here on my preset. So this is my old team, and if you check out some of my older videos, you'll be able to take a look. Now, the only difference that I've done from then is, one, I've leveled up in grade 6 a second Otengu, so that I have the option to use both. Now, I have one on crowd control currently, and then the others on DPS. Having an option to switch between crowd control and DPS on your Otengu, which is immune to CC, has been a great help for me for PvP. I wouldn't recommend you guys do this unless you have a lot of extra XP Duras or spend a lot on the game. Now, if you grind a lot of XP, then this is also an option, but if you're like myself and hate grinding XP, then there's no reason to have to do this. There's a lot of great other options you can do for crowd control for your Shiki. The new team is very similar to the old team. The only difference is, instead of using Shuzo, I'm going ahead and use Deerboy. Now, the difference between my setup and most other people's setup is my Deerboy uses Fortune Cat. This was a thing a while ago, but it kind of died out of meta. But there's a very specific reason why I'm using Fortune Cat on Shisho, and that is because I don't want to have to use a Fortune Cat set on my speed or on my Kama. Basically, I'm taking advantage of the fact that Shisho gets to still have utility and be extremely useful, and gets to cut in via turns to feed me orbs so I can take it off my Kama, so that I can have an easier time pushing up my speed, giving me an advantage in duels. I've been able to cheese a lot of people with this method, but without Komatsu, or however I say her name, who I'm going to grade up next, it's just been a bit of a struggle. Still pretty easy to get over top 50 PvP. I think I got up to 20, and then I kind of slouched back down. Hopefully one of my awesome guildmates is going to hop into a duel so I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about when I say this team has a pretty high win rate. It's pretty easy to put together, and you don't really need the craziest of souls on your Shiki. Now, none of my Shiki that I'm using on this team have insane souls. They're all just mediocre or like half good at best. Perfect. Our great guildmate Snow XXV, good old buddy Snow, offered to duel with us so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So, depending on your... Oh, well, Depending on your enemy's team is what you're gonna want to switch your team to. The fact that he has Heiga makes me make sure to have Arakawa or Yodo as a form of DPS. Let's go ahead and use this team first. So the cool thing about this as well is it doesn't have to be on Shisho. You can do this on Hana as well because she has a passive to move up. So what's really nice about it is if AO procs on my first turn, I get to speed up for free, and then hopefully Fortune Cat procs on my second turn, which also gives me 6 orbs to start, and that's a lot for how much utility I get. Now, I have the option of either using a skill, which I don't recommend, or just autoing so that I can hopefully use an AO skill if I don't get CC'd. And this lets me go ahead and take away some of their orbs on the first turn, kind of making it harder for them to do anything as well. The main point of this though is the fact that I don't need Fortune Cat on my Kama. Having not needing Fortune Cat on your Kama is going to make a huge difference for your team. So, looks like that's crowd control. Now I'm wondering if he just didn't, looks like he didn't have the orbs for it. Well, this is also what's great is if Fortune Cat procs on here plus AO procs on my Dear Boy, it's kind of really nice. The extra orbs sometimes gives me a double speed up as well. Overall, this team is based off RNG, but it works very well for what it is. Can use that. Unlucky. It would have been great if he hit somebody else, but this is not a problem. This team is done really well, and it has a couple of different variations. This is going to do a lot of damage. So from here on out, it would just be a free win. So we're going to hop out of here and switch it to something else. The other example I wanted to show you guys. Now, against Heiga, which he was using last time, you're going to want to use Komatsu. Now, against a team like this, you have 2 threats from the enemy team. You can basically crowd control their entire team so that they can never get a chance to play. Nice, we got lucky with a double proc. Oh, hey, this is why you guys need AO on your team. I just got to use 3 speed ups. Wow, a 4th. Look at that. RNGesus. Maybe I should go summon. Now, cool. This is also something else I wanted to show you guys. So I got 4 procs from AO's passive on Kama, and I also got it on Shishio, which gives me sometimes that also procs while Fortune Cat does as well, and you get to use something like 8 or so orbs on your first 2 turns, and it's just insane. Sadly, it did not proc for my Otengu, but the reason I have Otengu here instead of like another kind of form of crowd control or just DPS is because I want to be able to lock down their entire team if they were using something I was worried about. Like for example, if he had Sam X and I didn't want to get crowd controlled if RNG didn't roll my way. If you take a look, basically my entire team is extremely tanky, even without getting the procs I need to crowd control their team. Oh wow, I didn't mean to do that. Even without getting the procs I need to crowd control their team, my entire team survived just fine. So it is really hard to deal with. Once Utengu gets a turn in, it makes it even more difficult as well. You do deplete their orbs with AO. She has Jizo, it's hard to deal with. But you also, for example, now Otengu is the one DPS that could give you a hard time with. But because you're using Shisho, you can always keep him pushed back. He never really gets a turn to play. You kind of just, oh wow, I didn't mean to kill their other DPS. You kind of just, you lock down and crowd control their entire team. There is a couple of other Shiki that you can do this with. I think her name is Juzo, and of course Komatsu, who I mentioned earlier. But yeah, once Otengu gets a turn in, it's just, you crowd control their team, it's over from there. The chemistry between Fortune Cat and AO I think is great. The extra space really lets you push up your Kama speed, and going first has always been great, but it's always been better to have Fortune Cat while still getting your Excel in. This way you get to do it both. You get to have your Excel and still have Fortune Cat that procs more often than a regular Shiki. And because Shishio is based off speed, he gets a lot of turns in. I really hope that this is kind of like opened up some creativity for your guys' PvP team. So make sure to let me know down in the comments below if this is something you're interested in, or if you think you're gonna kind of like add to it your own kind of spice, and hopefully it does good stuff for you.